everybody, this is Dan for Gaming D on Cars. Now today, the topic we're talking about is 5 things that I hate about my wife's 2011 Toyota Venza. Now, I got such good reception from my video I made about 5 things that I love about this car, so I figured I would make a video about 5 things I hate about this car. So I got like 6,000 views on that video. Today's video is brought to you by Raspberry Sour Crush from 10 Barrel Brewing. There's a little shout out to Matt MPG. Go check out his channel. He is into the beers like I am. But today we're going to talk about 5 things I hate about my wife's car. So here we go. Alright, now, the first thing I hate about this car, which is the #1 thing that has always been my gripe about this car. So we've owned this since April of 2011, so it's been a little bit over 7 years, and it has to deal with right here. It is the fuel economy. The fuel economy on this car is absolutely atrocious, okay? Now this is a 3.5 liter V6. It's got 268 horsepower, about 260 foot-pounds of torque, give or take. And the ratings from the factory when we bought this car brand new was 21 in the city and 27 on the highway, and we average about 18 miles per gallon. Let me show you. If I come into the car, if I start it up right here, hit the start button. Now this screen up here gives you all the stats for the car as far as gas mileage and everything. It's going to show here in a second. Look at that. Average 18.1 miles per gallon. Now, I've taken this car on trips to Pittsburgh and we get maybe 23, which is a little bit lower than the 27 that it is rated at, but the gas mileage is terrible, okay? Now, my wife drives about 10 to 15 minutes up the highway to work, you know, a little bit of highway driving, a little bit of, you know, back roads. But it is absolutely terrible. It is the one thing that I hate the most about this car and that I wish I could change. Now, you've got cars like a Corvette that gets like 27 on the highway as far as highway mileage. This is like a mid-level V6 engine that is just terrible. I know this car, it's sort of sleek looking, and you know, you've got the big tires, the 20 inches and the big rims. I just feel like it should be a lot better than what it is. So that is the thing that I absolutely hate the most in this car. So it bothers me so much. So that is #1. Alright, now the #2 thing that I hate about this car is that there are no memory seats, okay? Now I know this is a Toyota and that Lexus is the luxury brand, and I know that most Lexus have memory seats, which will be right here, you know, a 1 and a 2 and a program, but this car does not have memory seats. My wife obviously has a seat higher than I do because she's shorter than I am, but whenever I get into the car, I have to do an 8 count to get the seat back and a 4 count to get the backrest back. So it's programmed in my brain that whenever I get into this car, I have to move the seat back and I have to move the backrest back right here. So it's a little bit annoying. My car has memory seats. I mean, obviously it's, you know, 5 years newer, but it's just sort of something that bothers me that I have to do without fail in this car. So then whenever she gets in this car to go back to work, she has to put the seat back as an 8 count up and then put the seat back up. You know, obviously I'm taller. So I know it's a Toyota and it's more of a Lexus thing that would have the memory seats, but just sort of something that bothers me. So that is #2. The third thing that I hate about this car is simply the fact that Toyota does not make this car anymore. You know, I've said in many videos before that every luxury and non-luxury car maker out there has every single possible car on the market to sort of fill in just a little bit of niche car. You know, like I've said before, BMW has the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, they have so many different models of car, but Toyota has the Highlander, which is bigger than this car. It's a 3-row SUV. Plus they have the RAV4, which is sort of a not as long, you know, taller SUV for more space. they don't make this car. You would think this would slot in right in between the RAV4 and the Highlander, just to sort of you know, take care. It's almost like this car is classified as a wagon, so this car would fit perfectly in there. But for some reason, I think it was 2015, Toyota decided to stop making this car. And my in-laws have said they just got an Acura MDX. They said that if they had a new version of this car, they would have bought it, because they know that we have loved this car so much and it's comfortable. I mean, it's sort of a little more squatted down and longer, sort of like a wagon type car. But we have, you know, gotten so many compliments in this car, and all the compliments that I got in this car from the video about 5 things I love about this car, they just have sort of, I just don't understand why Toyota would not make this car in an era, you know, in 2018 where we're making, you know, three models too many cars, just to try to fill that little gap to get a little buyer from this car into the next car. When we go shopping for a car, which might be soon, and my wife wants to get something, we would have totally bought a new version of this car if it was updated, maybe a turbo 4-cylinder engine, you know, something like that, as opposed to like a mid-level V6. But I don't understand. I don't get it, Toyota. What happened? So that's number 3. The number 4 thing that I don't like about this car has to do with the inside. Now, we got this car brand new. I don't buy cars brand new anymore, but at the time that is what made sense. But this car has sort of had a little bit of an issue with like a panel gap here, and this piece in particular has always sort of bothered me. And right here, it's sort of just, it just kind of annoys me that there's the panel gaps are not the greatest. So right here, I mean, this is like a nice sort of plastic material, and we've sort of got a faux wood sort of finish here, and these have been okay. They've held up over time. You know, I try to keep my cars as clean as I can. But right here, as you can see, this just sort of has always bothered me. So to go along with this one, when we go out of the car, say hi, Viv. So this panel piece up here has always been sort of warped. Now on the other side, it just sort of sticks up and does not stay completely down. I've never had to sort of mess with the adhesive on the bottom side, but it just always has kind of come loose. And whenever I'm standing here getting gas, I always sort of look up at this panel just to see it just is not right here. So if we come over to the other side, yeah, see, this one is completely flat. So by the way, I want to say real quick, rest in peace, John McCain. You were a great American. But look, this piece is completely flat, but you can see over there, it's just a little hump. So it's kind of just a sort of fit and finish issue that has really been the only issues as far as I'm not going to say defective, but just something that was out of normal. So that's number 4 thing I don't like about this car. Alright, now the 5th and final thing that I don't like about this car, now really I'm grasping at straws because this has been a really great car, but if I had to find a 5th thing that I don't like about this car, it sort of deals with this key. This key obviously is supplied by Toyota, and we've had to replace the battery in this thing like, you know, once every 6 months. I feel like this key should last longer. And just the fact that this is sort of a haggle that or a bad thing that I don't like about this car really speaks to the volume of how much we love this car. I mean, I consulted with my wife about when I was making this list, and I knew I came up with my first 4 things, but for the 5th thing, I couldn't. I was like, maybe the key battery. I mean, it just sort of goes to show you that this is such a great car, and that Toyota really hits them out of the park and makes reliable, dependable, you know, good-looking cars. I really still think this is such a good-looking car. I mean, I washed it today. My wife's first day of school is tomorrow, so I was like, hey, I'll wash the car for her, make it look nice. So this has been a wonderful car for us, but there's definitely a couple things that I don't like about it, and we sort of talked about it through this video. So that is the 5 things that I don't like about this car. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.